Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to Community Coffee. I'm your host, Trina Myers, and I have my dear friend, our guest, Brea Sharron Estep. And she is no other than the reigning Mrs. United States. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Brea.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Trina. It's so good to catch up. We were catching up before the recording, and it's always so good just to hang out with a friend. And, I'll tell you, every time I hear Mrs. United States, I'm always like, oh, wow, I should meet her. It still hasn't sunk in all of this time. And I know the year's going to be up before I know it, but it's been such a wonderful ride.
Oh, I'm sure. So we're coming up on what you have, 4 more months left, right?
3.5, I'm saying 4.
Okay. So over this time from October of last year when you were crowned, what has been your favorite thing that you have gotten to do as Mrs. United States?
That's a loaded question. I will say our amazing, amazing, amazing weekend with Jonathan Kane, where we got to design a custom made gown with Jonathan Kane and do a photo shoot and have his whole hair and makeup and photography team, like absolutely amazing. But I think my favorite thing is every single time that I take my crown off and put it on a little girl's head, just the way her eyes light up, and she truly does feel like a queen, and the moms just eat it up and are like, wait, let me get my camera.
Right.
That's my favorite.
It is. I had the opportunity to go into a couple of classrooms right before school got out, and I did that with one of the classrooms. And the boys wanted to wear the crown, and that was the coolest thing. They were just in awe. Of course, we said you're the king for the day, but that really it touches the heart to see those kids just in awe that you've made their day.
Absolutely. Yes. There's no feeling quite like it. Just seeing a kid's eyes light up and knowing that, for the most part, of course, there's exceptions to every rule, but they truly believe that they can. There's not somebody telling them, no, you can't be president of the United States. No, you
Right.
can't be queen or princess or king or whatever. Yeah, you can be an astronaut. You can do whatever you want to do. And seeing that look in their eyes is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Now, speaking of kids, your platform kind of centers around kids. So, how about you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So my platform is actually my nonprofit organization, Youth Fitness Link. And our mission statement is to build healthy, positive relationships on the inside and out in order to combat adolescent obesity, as well as teach healthy lifestyle choices. So it started out as a college project that I did, and I got started in pageantry and needed a platform. And of course, there's so many amazing organizations like the Red Cross and Alzheimer's and veteran advocacy and rare diseases. And I love all of those amazing organizations, but I couldn't pick just one. So I decided that I had to come up with something all my own. So that's how it spun out. And being an integrative health practitioner, I knew that something had to be done, as well as my work with my church's middle school youth group and teaching dance for years. I would see kids that come in with a jar, I never can remember what it is, of Pringles and a Dr. Pepper, and say, oh, this dinner my mom sent me with.
Mhm.
And, I just have no energy. I can't focus in school. And I'm like, oh, no wonder you're loaded up on
Right.
caffeine, preservatives, no wonder. But I realized that they truly don't know. They're just kind of given, what they're given and don't think about it. And if it tastes good, they eat it. And,
Right.
of course, kids, we want to have fun and enjoy and never want to deprive children or anything like that. But, how much better do you feel when you eat better? And then I saw things like racism and bullying that I was like, we got to do something. And that's not a problem in sports. How do we take that and put it together? So that's how Youth Fitness Link was born. And, the kids that got picked last in gym class, that was me, believe it or not. I work out, but I am not the most coordinated person all the time. So me personally. So yeah, that's how Youth Fitness Link came about. And we have now I've partnered nationally with the Boys and Girls Club. So that's been absolutely amazing. And I am raising money everything that I do is on my website, youthfitnesslink.com, with free resources, free workouts, #wow, which is workout of the week. But now I'm also partnering with Boys and Girls Club and raising money to send their kids to fitness summer camps as well.
Oh, that's awesome. So we will make sure that all the information on how to connect with Brea, as well as any of the organizations, that she supports or is helping out, will go into the comments later on so that you know how to reach her and whether or not you want to support or financially, or if you're wanting to get involved. We're going to make sure that you know how to do that.
Absolutely. I would love that.
Now, you had mentioned a couple things. One is, about your energy and, well, of course, what you're eating contributes to it. And, that's a journey that I've been on as well, finding what foods and that can contribute to feeling sluggish or creates pain for me. And these can be healthy foods too. It's not just that it's junk food. It can be healthy foods that are good for you, but maybe not for me. And, I've been sharing with others that I've learned to eat for energy or fuel and not for entertainment. And learning how to have that balance is so important. And you've mentioned that you are an integrative healthcare practitioner? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So my job is to find the underlying root cause to the body's diseases by eliminating toxicities and replacing deficiencies to get your body back to a position where it can heal itself. So what I do is functional medicine labs, and a little bit about me and how I got into that is years of doctors and drugs. And I say drugs as in prescription drugs. My husband is a cop, so prescription drugs, let me just clarify, and diagnosis for well over a decade. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, scoliosis, a weird type of spina bifida, arthritis, tendonitis, fibromyalgic junction, all this stuff that it got to the point where I was like, I really can't, like, statistically speaking, I can't have all of this stuff. Like, statistically speaking, it's not possible. And I think so many people have dealt with that as well. And then I dealt with thyroid adrenal hormone issues. And, I went to every doctor and they're like, oh, you should eat healthy and exercise. I'm like, I own a fitness studio. I work out 4 days a week. You should eat healthier. I eat as organic as possible. I don't eat sugar. What else? Very, very, very
Right.
low carb. Like, not much else I can do. And I was doing all of that stuff when I started and I looked great. And now I'm gaining all this weight, but I haven't changed anything. Explain that to me.
Right.
So that's how I got into integrative health. That's actually how I built my course, Restored and Revitalized, for all of the women who have tried every workout, every exercise program, and every doctor, and still aren't getting the results to finally get their health and body back holistically. So it's health, fitness, and mindset all combined together, because it is all three pieces that have to come together. And so many people are doing too much instead of not enough. And, seeing those functional medicine labs is really where integrative health shines, is the hair tissue mineral analysis that shows me exactly how stressed out your body is and how that is playing, because blood is a homeostatic fluid. So this I didn't realize. I was like, what? My blood work looks fine. And so many clients come to me and I hear so many times, well, my blood work's fine. And yeah, your blood works fine. Your blood's a homeostatic fluid, so it's going to pull from wherever it needs to in order to stay at homeostasis. So many women have osteoporosis and their calcium looks fine. But on a hair tissue mineral analysis, I can see that calcium level. I can also see the calcium to magnesium ratio. And I'm so focused on that ratio, as well as toxic heavy metals, as well as another gut lab. And I need to see thyroid adrenal hormones through saliva. And there's so many different things that, not that there's anything wrong with blood work. You should definitely get your blood work done. There's just so much more to the picture.
Right. Because our hair kind of holds on to whatever we've digest or ingest or whatever, for several days, correct? I mean, what is
Months.
the average? Months. Yeah.
Months.
So I can understand.
And it depends on if you're a slow oxidizer, fast oxidizer. It also depends on how fast your hair grows, exactly what's going on. But for most people, when we do a hair tissue mineral analysis, we get right, I'm backwards and I'm so not used to being backwards. Wherever my part is over here, there we go. Over here, we'll take the first like inch and a half of hair from the root that shows us exactly what's going on. So that's roughly, again, depending on how fast your hair grows, a couple months.
Right. And I've done that myself and was able to see some imbalances and took some vitamins that, I was able to tell a difference. Obviously, there were some other things going on in my health journey at that time that I didn't know of. And, just as of a couple months ago, found a big, puzzle piece to fit into where that issue was. So my question is for individuals like myself whose hair has started falling out, because of these health issues or from the virus, and which has caused hair to fall out. I do still have some hair, but generally speaking, I don't have a whole lot of hair. So, how do you work with patients or clients who maybe don't have enough hair to provide a sample like that?
So if we're not dealing with alopecia where we still have body hair, we can use that. It's really not that much hair, but we
Okay.
can also use body hair from different areas as well. So that's also an option if hair on the head is not an option.
Right. If there is no viable way, you had mentioned the saliva. Is that another option?
So for it depends on what we're looking for. So saliva shows me hormones and cortisol levels the best. A hair
Okay.
tissue mineral analysis shows me calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, zinc, chromium, boron, as well as toxic heavy metals like aluminum, mercury, cadmium, and some more that I won't rattle them all off for everyone. But
Yeah,
a urine lab shows me 75 different biomarkers in the gut. So it depends on what we're looking for. So normally what I do with a client is we go over a roughly 100 question intake form. I dialed it down a little bit, but it's still about 100 questions. We go over it together and then we see what labs line up with their symptoms to figure out where to go.
that's great. And it's super easy. I've done this with Brea myself. And you have a really great support group if individuals are interested in doing this program with you. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about the program that you offer?
Yeah, well, I have a bunch of free resources. I know not everybody's ready to dive in. I do have a free Facebook group, Holistic Health, Wellness, and Weight Loss. It's about 500, mostly women. There are a couple guys that, we're not going to kick them out, but I mostly do work with women because I work with bodies that are completely overstressed, and men don't go to a health coach just like they don't go to a doctor. So we love them, but most of the time they need women to tell them what to do. So I mainly work with women, but there are some men in there. But I have my free Facebook group, and then my program is Restored and Revitalized. It is a 90-day program. It is a true transformation journey. So first thing we address is diet, where we start off with the detox and get rid of, oh, well, it could be this. Oh, well, it could be this. Oh, well, it could be this. We knock out the top food sensitivities. We can also run food sensitivity tests. I know you mentioned that before. So number one food sensitivity is dairy. Number two is gluten. Number three is egg whites. So a lot of people don't realize that. Number four is nuts, and the type of nuts varies, but some people can have food sensitivities. I run an IgG food sensitivity lab, which is a gradual, is how I remember it, versus IgA or IgE. So it's not going to show us stuff that's going to cause like anaphylaxis. Most of the time you'll know those food allergies right off the bat, and you can test for that, somewhere, but we test for IgG food sensitivities. So those are going to show up 24 to 72 hours after you consume the food. I don't remember what I had for breakfast 2 days ago. Most people don't.
Right.
So that's why that lab is so, so, so vital. But we start diet and we start with the detox in my program to knock out all of those top food sensitivities that show up most for most people and see how the body feels, see how the body reacts. And from there, we build on diet. And then we go to exercise and work through a graduated exercise program. Then we go into mindset to tie it all together. So that's the way that I do it. I'm there for every step of the way. I find it very important to run through the entire de-stressed protocol. So D, diet, E, exercise, S, stress reduction, T, toxin removal, R, rest, E, emotional balance, S, supplementation, the last S, success mindset and spirituality, as well as education and delivery. I think it's super important to make sure that you know why, because most women that come to me have, again, tried every diet and every workout and or every doctor, and they still aren't getting results. So why did what you did previously not work? Why did keto maybe not work for you? Or why did you not feel great as a vegan? Or, why? I personally want the why. Why should I trust me? What's the behind why? And I think it's also important to make sure that, yes, it's great if you have all of this information, but I'm also here to be with you every step of the way to make sure that you deliver on that information and make sure that you take those actionable steps to really make the difference.
That's great. Yes. And I've actually been in your Facebook group, lots of really great resources. So if you are interested in it, I would highly recommend that you jump on in and, if you need to just kind of sneak around, check it out a little bit, and then dive in, you won't regret it.
Yeah, come on in. We got lots of free recipes. I try and post daily. Sometimes it doesn't always happen when life happens, but almost daily. There's lots of free recipes. There's lots of free, great resources, and I'm there to answer any questions as well. So feel free to hit me up whenever.
Al, you just hit another word, recipes. And you have a cookbook out. So let us know what is so special about your cookbook.
So let me do my little, I got a new spinny chair. I'm spinning the wrong way. Is it that way? It's that way. But, it's behind the globe. It's behind the globe. I never know which way it's been. It's my holistic health, clean eating cookbook, roughly 50 pages of some recipes that I made that picked up and people wanted to know what I was eating. And I turned it into a cookbook. It is a cookbook for people that don't like cooking, people that want to eat healthy, that don't want to sacrifice the taste, and that don't have a lot of time. So pretty much everything is 30-ish minutes or less, super easy. And you don't need like random ingredients that most people don't have, or like random utensils like a sushi roller or anything like that most of us are like, oh, hold on, let me go to the junk drawer. So everybody, it's really funny. People are like, oh my gosh, we should do a cooking show. I'm like, I actually hate cooking.
I don't like to cook either.
I like to eat. I don't really love to cook. That's why I made a cookbook of recipes that I was like, I want to actually remember this because it was easy. So that's how it all came about. But I actually do have a free gift for you guys. I have a free copy of my Clean Copycat Cookbook. So it's just a little mini version of my restaurant favorites, made healthy, like Chick-fil-A is in there, and Chipotle, and there's some goodies in there. So that's totally free for you guys. If you head over to my website, of course, we'll leave it in the comments, but it's just my name, www.brea, B-R-E-A, Sharron, SHARRON.com. So that's over there for you guys to grab as well.
I'm excited. I can't wait to look at that myself, as somebody who has just changed my own diet again. I am always looking for recipes that are easy to make because, it's just me. I'm cooking for one. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time. I've got other things to do. I don't need to spend time cooking. So I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what I created it for. Is I got tired of going on Pinterest and looking for gluten-free. I think there might be one recipe with a little bit of gluten, a little bit of dairy. I think it's all gluten-free. But for the most part, gluten-free, dairy-free, as organic as possible, literally as healthy as I could get everything without sacrificing taste. But yeah, it's stuff that you can feed the kids as well. But again, or you can have leftovers for 3 days, 4 days, because it's good. I'm the same way when my husband works nights. I cook just for me. So
question. So I just went dairy-free. I don't process almond milk. That's one that, doing an elimination diet, I found I had a challenge with. I do use coconut milk, but it has that coconut flavor to it, even the unsweetened has that coconut. I know. So, do you have any recommendations on a substitute for dairy or cheese? Because that is really hard.
So also why I created Cookbook is most healthy recipes that are gluten-free and dairy-free have coconut. I hate coconut. I do not want to smell coconut candle. I don't want to smell your sunscreen that smells like coconut. I do not want the Baja Blast. Like, it does nothing for me. It makes me, gag. Ugh. There's no point where I can do some oil pulling now. It's taken me like decades to desensitize myself where I can do that. I will say a fractionated coconut oil doesn't have that coconutty taste, but still like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't mind the coconut taste. I do like it, but there's some recipes that it just doesn't work very well, that is that really strong savory. You don't want to add that coconut to it.
Yeah, and like if I'm having something, coconut kind of has most of the time people use it as something sweet. If I put it in a recipe, I don't want the sweet and the savory to get like it just doesn't know. So, what I personally, you can use a cashew milk. You can use, and again, it would depend on your food sensitivities. I use almond for most of my stuff. A fraction coconut oil would help. Most of the time, I'll sub a coconut oil for like an olive oil or something if it's an oil. Olive oil for pretty much everything. Sometimes you can use an avocado and blend up an avocado too.
Oh yeah. I always, and I do use avocados, but I never even thought about that because it does take on the flavor of, the majority of the recipe that you're creating.
So avocado works really great in like brownies. I've made avocado brownies, sweet potato brownies. My husband loves brownies. The other night for my cheat meal, my off-plan meal, I made chocolate chip cookies with chickpeas. So those also work. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for, but there are substitutes for kind of what you're looking for.
Sweet potato brownies. I've not heard that one. Is that one in the recipe book?
That one is not in my recipe book. I believe that I've made so many recipes and tried so many out. I don't know what's in my own cookbook. I believe the avocado brownies are in there as well. And I will say a coconut flour, if it's just a little bit of coconut flour, doesn't take on that coconutty taste. So
right.
If you don't have a sensitivity or allergy, most of the time, even me that's super sensitive.
Right.
As far as smell and taste, nothing shows up on a food.
I can use the almond flour. That doesn't bother me. It's just the almond milk. And I don't know, it really is still processed, if you think about it, it's still processed. So, somewhere along the line in that processing, something changed enough for it to bother me.
You might be able to make your own. It's actually not that bad.
I've tried it. It takes a lot of work because you got to boil them and you have to take the skin off. It is not fun at all. That's too much work.
That's why I made a cookbook. Do that. My mom like that. Does anybody else's mom do that? Like, let me just send you this recipe. You should try it. No, mom. Like, nah. I wash my hair in 3 days. How am I going to make my own cleaning spray? And I do a lot of times use a lot of stuff, but if I can get it, any easy hacks, yes. I'm not
right. No, exactly. I feel you. I'm right there.
That's about it, though.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers?
Oh, yes. So I'm all about creating actionable steps that are actually doable. I want to leave you guys with some way just to level up your life. So just really quick, I do have a couple lists for you guys that hopefully are helpful. I will also type these in the comments as well. But first things first, like, okay, my health sucks. What do I do? First thing, cut out smoking. If you can do one thing, stop smoking. Like whatever, smoking, whatever. I know there's, yes, it's this thing, it's incense, it's whatever, but all of those benefits are negated by the fact that you are smoking it. cut out smoking. Next best thing you can do. Okay, got that. Most of your, I'm sure most of our viewers here today are like, yeah, I got that. Number one, I'm doing good. You're doing good. High five. Number two, next thing, cut out soda. This includes diet soda. You don't need it. You really don't need it. I swear, like just slowly but surely ease off of it. You won't miss it. If you need that like carbonation, try like a LaCroix or like a sparkling water. Again, watch out for number three, which is artificial sweeteners. So the FDA used to say that artificial sweeteners, Splenda specifically, which is the yellow packet, what also known as sucralose, you'll see it in a lot of health foods, as sucralose was an okay substance. Now it is considered a warning substance for the FDA to go back and say that that is major. So it is also known as rat poison. So we want to avoid that. Very, very, very dangerous. Try to knock out artificial sweeteners for 2 weeks. If you do not feel better, you will never hear me say it ever again. I will bet anyone on here, just shoot me a message. I'll bet you $25. If you don't feel better in 2 weeks.
Well, and I'll tell you, when I took sugar out of my diet, you possibly can go through withdrawal. So, the first few days could be challenging, but stick to it because it is so worth it at the end.
Yes, absolutely. And for artificial sweeteners, a lot of people are like, wait, which one's artificial? So I'll say for your artificial sweeteners, the blue packet NutraSweet and the pink packet Sweet and Low, I might have those mixed up. Those are artificial as well as the yellow packet Splenda or sucralose. You might also see aspartame on a label. Avoid those like the plague. Like you should never ever in any I would rather people have a real soda than a diet soda. It is that bad. It is that dangerous to your system. Stevia, the green packet, that is from a stevia leaf. That is okay. There are some other sugar alcohols like erythritol and xylitol. If you have any type of gut dysbiosis, any type of gut issues, some people can't process them, but there are some that are natural. But especially avoiding the sucralose, the aspartame, the NutraSweet, and the Sweet and Low are the big ones. So watch out for things that say sugar-free and low sugar. So that's most of them. Number 4. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say also that if you're gluten-free, a lot of times they will substitute in those artificial sugars. So it's really important to read the labels.
Yes, you're so right. And it frustrates me so bad because it's the health foods that stuff is labeled on. So frustrating. So next one is processed food. So if we can knock out things, let's knock out the stuff from, the bags and the boxes. Exception to the rule would be rice coming in a bag or beans coming in a bag. But for the most parts, shop in the middle of the grocery. Don't shop in the middle of the grocery store. Shop the perimeter. Let me not switch that up, where the fruits and vegetables and proteins and stuff is. Stay away from the middle where everything is processed and packaged and stuff like that. Number 5, refined sugars, other than a once a week off plan or cheat meal, whatever you want to call it. And once you reach your goals, I tell my clients they can have 2 off plan meals per week. Avoid, and if you're, dealing with any type of health issue, avoid it completely, even for an off plan meal. But refined sugars, again, they just zap your energy. The same places in your brain that light up with cocaine light up with sugar. It is that addicting, and it is in everything, even our health food products.
Right.
It doesn't have artificial sweeteners. It's loaded with added sugar, and it's under so many different names. So watch out for those processed foods. Avoiding processed foods for the most part will knock out those refined sugars as well. Okay, great. So we knocked out all of this stuff. Now, good habits flush out bad habits. So what do we put in there? Like, what am I supposed to do? So if you can do one thing, the first thing I want you to do is add more water. So half of your body weight in ounces per day. So if you're 200 pounds, at least 100 ounces of water per day, just to get everything flowing and going and moving and all of those wonderful things. A lot of people that are constipated are actually are dehydrated. A lot of people that are like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. Well, have you had any water today? No, not at all. Just coffee dehydrates you even more. Make sure you're drinking water. Number 2, get moving. Ideally 10,000 steps a day. As far as how much should I go to the gym, then more days than not, try and be active, but at least try and get 10,000 steps a day in. Number 3, functional medicine multivitamin. This one is super important, especially if you have an MTHFR gene mutation which 1/3 to 1/4 of the population does. Most of us don't know it. So if you're not using a functional medicine supplement, functional medicine multivitamin, super particular on this. Those brands are the one that I use mainly, Equalife. I also use Thorne, Integrative Therapeutics, Pure Encapsulations. I feel like I'm missing one. Equalife, Thorne, Integrative Therapeutics, Pure Encapsulations, Apex Energetics. That's the other one. Those are our 5 functional medicine brands. Those are all third-party tested. I've got a video about this if anybody wants to dig deep on it. But they are going to have the methylated forms of your vitamin in there. If you're not using the methylated form, which is the most absorbable form, you get the best bang for your buck. It might be a little bit more expensive, but you get more of the quality supplement that you're looking for anyway. So it really does come out. You get what you pay for, but they don't have the methylated version. So your methylcobalamin instead of cyanocobalamin is 1 molecule away from cyanide. We do not want to take that, as well as your folate instead of folic acid are the 2 main ones that I look for to see if it's a methylated version. So super important. Number 4, sunshine. Get out, get some vitamin D if you are not getting a tan. Most people 15 minutes a day, but again, it depends on where you live and your skin color and all of that stuff. But get some sunshine every single day. Number 5, eat more plants. Just eat more plants. Like, good habits flush out bad habits. If you're eating more plants, it's hard to, eat a bunch of processed food. Number 6, make sleep a priority. At least 8 hours a night, 7 to 9 minimum. Men sometimes can go a little bit lower. Sometimes women need closer to 9, especially if your body is recovering from something. Ideally 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. To get those natural cortisol spikes where our natural diurnal rhythm is going. And number 7, start your day with a smoothie, which eases digestion. 1/3 of your energy every single day goes to digestion. So by revving up your metabolism, yes, having breakfast, it's a great way to really get the day going, and you can load your body up with all of those superfoods. Last list, but not least, don't. So what not to do? We've got what we're going to cut out. We've got what we're going to add, but what are we not going to do? Number 1, don't beat yourself up. Rome was not built in a day. Progress and process, not perfection. You learn as you go. Enjoy the process. Don't deprive yourself. Give yourself a weekly flex meal unless you're getting over something, unless you're dealing with health conditions or something like that. Give yourself a weekly off plan or flex meal. You don't want to never eat your birthday cake or never eat. If pizza's your favorite food, do make it something that you really, really, really enjoy, though. I'm talking about pizza and my stomach's growling. Self-care. So you can't pour from an empty cup. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself. There's a Jim Rohn quote, I'll take care of me for you if you take care of you for me. The best thing you can do for those around you is make sure that you take care of yourself. And last but not least, don't forget mindfulness, practice gratitude, and your morning routine and meditation.
Wow, those are really great tips. And I've heard people say, well, it's so expensive to eat healthy. But yet what you just shared with us, it actually is, and I've looked at what it costs for healthcare, what it costs for medication, what it costs for my doctors. And I've seen it personally, changing my diet and, having a healthier lifestyle, feeling better. I'm actually going to spend less money buying the healthier options rather than the cheaper options that are going to make me sick and hurt and want to take on, these medications that are just toxic. So those tips are wonderful. And I hope that people will hear it and be like, oh yes, it's a lot easier than what you think it could be.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll put that list again in the comments. I know I went fast.
It's all good. I think the repetition is good. You hear it, then you see it, and then you can apply it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Brea. And we look forward to, maybe hearing from you again in a few months and see how your cookbook is going. And for my viewers, please don't forget to go to Brea's website. She's going to put in the links on how you too can get your version of her cookbook. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see it. Yay.
Well, like I said,
All
I'm here for you. So, however, reach out.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and your week. Enjoy the 4th of July, but be safe. Eat lots of good and healthy foods. Watermelon, that's a healthy food. But enjoy the day, and you can always start the next day. Don't have to beat yourself up if you decided to enjoy the day with not so healthy foods on Monday.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you again next week.